Hello and welcome to 100 Yards of Football, Sports Talk Radio. I'm your producer, Jeremiah Long, and joining me is our host, Logan Landers, to talk about another amazing draft profile. This one's going to be Alijah Vera Tucker. He's an offensive tackle from USC. This guy comes out of Oakland, California, and I'm pretty excited about this. The last few weeks, we've been doing these draft profiles, and Logan has been doing an excellent job of profiling and doing great analysis on player positions that don't get enough love, in our opinion, here at 100 Yards of Football. So, Logan, let's hear more. What do you think, man? Let's hear this preliminary, and I'll let you go.
Yeah. First off, just to bank off what you were saying, you got to show the offensive linemen some love. They don't get talked about too much outside of the draft, honestly. Mm-hmm. So these guys got to get the love they deserve. And these guys are crucial to a good football team. It's always nice to look at the quarterbacks, the wide receivers, the running backs, the cornerbacks, guys who have all these stats compiled over 4 years at college and whatnot. Yeah. Offensive linemen don't have that kind of love. They don't share that. They're just there to do their job, get in, get out, and that's what their job is primarily. But
definitely agree there. So, Logan, tell us more about Mr. Tucker and give Oakland some love.
Yeah, got to show Oakland some love today on the podcast here. We are live, of course, on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch every Monday, of course, doing our work, me and Jeremiah, per usual. So let's talk about Alijah Vera Tucker coming out the Pac-12 with the USC Trojans, of course, one of the most historical franchises in all of college football. Once you see those colors, once you see the Trojan logo, you know exactly who's coming down at you, man. You know exactly who it is and who they are. And Alijah had a great career at USC. So the young man who is coming out from the Trojans is looking good, 6'4", 315. He's got a little bit of room to work as well. Like I said, with previous offensive linemen before Jeremiah, I like the range where they're a little bit smaller coming into the draft to show they're a little bit more lean and clean cut. That means they can go into the draft once they get picked by their team, whoever that might be. They can go and they can get work in with their trainers, with their other guys on the field with them, and with some of the best nutritionists around the country. That way they can bulk up even more, because the offensive linemen, you like them to be around probably the 320s, 330s, a little bit more sometimes. Yeah. But that's always good, because you got to have a large mass to be protecting your quarterback, man. You got to have a stone wall of a body to be getting your quarterback safe and to be helping out your running back as well. And Alijah, he's got all the tools in his toolbox, man. He's looking pretty good so far. We'll have to see where he goes, but got to show left tackle some love, especially because, like that is, Jeremiah, they got to protect the quarterback. That's one of the most crucial positions when it comes to the offensive line, because 9 times out of 10, because unless we get the rare chance of a left-handed quarterback, that's their blind side. They're not going to know what's coming down at them. So we'll have to see. I have seen some talks that Tucker might move to the left guard position. So that means he's got some versatility as well. He could play in either of those positions. I think it'll just depend on what team drafts him, honestly. That'll really kind of determine what position he gets. But he could work well for either of those positions, I think. So he's primarily known as a run blocker, of course. And, hey, that's great to have, because the running game is very good in the NFL. We've seen it more and more become a predominant passing league over the past couple of 10 or some odd years, primarily with Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes, all those kind of guys who's got those amazing cannon arms. Like I'm sure me and you might like to have in high school, Jeremiah, with our gunslinger arms. Mm-hmm. But the running game, it is very good. There are still a lot of really good running backs out there in the league. You just got to look a little bit harder for them sometimes. But like I always like to do, Jeremiah, I like to look at 3 teams who might get this guy. I always do it like IVT, Vincent Turner, Mr. Football, of course, and we always have a great time doing it. And I want to do it here as well for Mr. Alijah Vera Tucker. So 3 teams I think this guy might go to and will help out tremendously. I've got the Minnesota Vikings, who, hey, they're right there at the cusp. They had a pretty down year, but they've had some good glory in the past couple of seasons. And they got one of the best running backs in the league with Dalvin Cook. They got Kirk Cousins as their quarterback as well, who's pretty solid. So he would be, I think, a great fit for the looking in purple as well. So he'd be very good with the Minnesota Vikings, I think. And that's a team I kind of think he might go to. But some other teams I got on my list as well is the Chicago Bears. We all know the Bears. back in the day, man, they were a force to be reckoned with on both sides of the ball. Last couple of seasons, they've been iffy, I would say. They haven't been knocking teams in the mouth. They haven't been, just laying down and getting killed 45-0 either. So I think that if they go and solidify their offensive line, that would help them out. Now, whoever their quarterback's going to be, we'll have to see, because that's always going to be a tricky situation in Chicago. Is it going to be Mitchell Trubisky? Is it going to be someone else? Are they going to draft a quarterback? That remains to be seen. But whoever's going to be the quarterback for the Chicago Bears is going to have a good tackle with Vera Tucker here, I think, and he's going to help out whatever quarterback he's going to be pioneering, and whatever running back they got going on this next season. He's going to be helping them out a lot. So my third team I have on my board, my own draft board, I like to say, I've got the Denver Broncos. Now the Broncos, another team, man. They used to, they won a Super Bowl a couple of seasons ago with Peyton Manning, of course. But since then, they just haven't been able to get back to the promised land. They haven't been able to get close to the Super Bowl, and we'll have to see, if that's just aging on their team. They got Von Miller, who is one of the best defensive players in the league. Wasn't able to play this year, unfortunately, but he's going to be coming back looking good on the defensive side of the ball, I think. But the Broncos do need a little bit of help. Drew Lock, they might have as their franchise quarterback. That remains to be seen, though. You never know. They might go a different route, because he hasn't had the best career in Denver, but he also hasn't had the worst career. So he's kind of in a middle-of-the-road type of situation, as I always like to say, man. Well, I don't know what the heck's going to happen with this guy. Are they going to go a new route? Are they going to stick to their guns and stick things out with this young quarterback who still has something to prove in this league? And whatever they decide to do with their quarterback situation, well, that remains to be seen. But they do have Philip Lindsay, who is another running back who's yet to kind of break out and really kind of get his name out there in terms of some of the best running backs in the game. I do think that having a really good, run blocker, primarily offensive lineman with Vera Tucker, I think that might help them out a lot, getting their offense flowing more, because they do need a little bit of help on the offensive side of the ball. They do have some good pieces, but it hasn't really came to fruition yet, Jeremiah. They still haven't connected all the dots yet to have that, stellar offense. And I think that solidifying their O-line with Vera Tucker might help them out some. So be sure, if you guys are watching us, drop a comment like Jeremiah's got over here. Let's see, he's got, will Alijah Vera Tucker get drafted to the Vikings, the Bears, or the Broncos? And if you don't agree with any of my picks, let me know. Let me know who you think he might go to and why as well. We love your comments here on the show. So that's all I got for Vera Tucker, Jeremiah. I think he's going to be a really good offensive tackle in this league, or guard. We'll have to see. He might get switched over. But whatever position he does play, whatever team he does get drafted by, whatever team he does play for, he's going to have a heck of a career. And all of us here at the show wish him the best of luck in the NFL.
Well, I'm also wishing him the best of luck if he gets drafted to any of the teams that you mentioned, because if this Oakland, California boy coming out of USC gets drafted to Minnesota, Chicago, or Denver, he's in for some snow. And he's going to see what winter's really like.
Right.
So we're all hoping that you do get to one of those places so that you can see the flip side from going from Southern California over to feet of snow every year. So enjoy that. And I'm hoping you go to that Mile High City, because that would be a great team, I think, to really support. And like you were saying, give a great offensive tackle to a team that could really be greatly supported by that, especially in the next few years where they need to start thinking about their future, So right. I am the producer, Jeremiah Long, and you've listened to Logan Landers' amazing and in-depth profile of Alijah Vera Tucker, who's currently USC's an offensive tackle coming out of USC, hometown, Oakland, California. And, if you watch our show and you're on Twitch or YouTube, or if you're over on Facebook, we'd love for you to jump over onto our podcast, which you just have to look up 100 Yards of Football wherever you do it. I liked Spotify. Logan, we could also do Apple Podcasts, of course, right? And then they could also go pretty much anywhere that they want to find a podcast, right?
Yeah. Anywhere you like to listen to your podcast, pretty much we're on there. I know we're on Stitcher. We're also on Google Podcast as well, Jeremiah. I think you have a little presentation you'd like to show the
I
fans
do,
out there.
yeah. So, like, for everybody who's watching now, I want to make sure that you know that if you have your Alexa device or whatever device that you use, your Google Home device, try something like this. Hey, Google, play 100 yards of football. Let's see.
Sure, 100 yards of football on Google Podcasts. I'll pick up where you left off.
See, that's all you got to do, and your episode's going to play. It's pretty awesome. So thank you guys so much for watching. Oh, I hear Logan. So yeah, we are 100 Yards of Football Sports Talk Radio. Thank you guys so much for watching, and make sure to check us out on our podcast, on our social media, and even over on your Alexa or Google Home device. See you guys later.